When it comes to leadership, there's many different areas that we can talk about. A lot of times it sounds awesome, it sounds exciting. Sometimes some of the things that we learn about leadership or personal growth and development is like, oh my goodness, that's very challenging. I'm not sure if I'm able to do that. So I wanted to share something with you that I like to call the tree principle. And that's primarily focused on our personal growth and maturity, or primarily your maturity and my maturity, and why that's so important. So how does this tree principle, as I like to call it, how can we apply that into our life? If you ever had the opportunity to learn, or to actually, maybe when you're in school, whether it was your teacher, or maybe you had some kind of an expedition occur, is that how do they measure the years or the growth of the tree is when you count the circles that are within the actual tree. So if it's only got like maybe 10 circles, that means it's only 10 years old. If it's got 100, it's 100. If it's got 1,000, it's obviously 1,000 years old. And it's interesting that this particular example is what I would like to focus primarily on, is your maturity and my maturity. Obviously, we cannot expect the same maturity level out of a 7-year-old as much as out of a 16-year-old or out of a 40-year-old. With that speaking, I have a 7-year-old, I have a 16-year-old, and I'm currently 48 myself. Now, obviously, age does not guarantee your maturity, but obviously, with common sense, it should make sense that the older you become, you should have more life experience and you should be more mature. And here's the interesting thing. After I did research, I'm going to give you this to comparison about the largest tree and the smallest tree. The smallest tree is called the dwarf willow. And that's what I like to call the dwarf willow leader. It's about 2 inches tall, and the life span of this particular tree is actually 30 years. And then we also have the giant sequoia, which is considered one of the largest trees in the world, which I also like to call the giant sequoia leader. I've made other videos that you can actually check out on the YouTube channel. These particular trees, they can grow as 30 stories tall. They can be 80 feet in their circumference. Can you imagine that? That's amazing. They can weigh up to 2,700 tons. The life average span of these giant sequoias is around 895 years. That's a major comparison in comparison to dwarf willow. And the oldest recorded giant sequoia is 3,500 years old. So if that's how they measure the tree, how they're able to find out that that particular tree is 3,500 years old is because they're able to count the rings. There is a total of 3,500 rings within that tree. So as I wrap this up, my friend, here's my challenge to you. And the takeaway that we can learn from this tree, or from a tree, as I like to call the tree principle, is the maturity in your personal life, both mentally, psychologically, in your heart, in your life, if you're married, in your marriage, in your business, in your company, wherever you may be, will obviously depend upon you. No one can force maturity down your throat. No one can give you a shot in your hand. Oh, now mature. You cannot go to a college, university, and take up a class in maturity. It's something that you need to personally grow and develop in your life. As same as these trees, they're grown in nature. I got a bunch of trees behind me. In order for me to find out how old they are, I would have to obviously cut them down and count the rings. So same thing here. People may not be able to see your internal maturity, only but they'll be able to actually see it, they'll be able to hear it, and they'll be able to experience it. So as I wrap this up, my friend, let this be a powerful takeaway lesson that as much as this little dwarf tree can only grow up to 2 inches, because that's the type of tree it is, we have too many individuals and leaders are like these dwarf leaders. But then if you want to become like the giant sequoia leader, or a person of influence that can grow as tall as 30 stories and can, have a lifespan of 3,500 years. I know we as humans can't live like that, but the whole point is, if you want to have a greater impact on people around you, if you want to have greater impact on the society, in whichever way it is, it doesn't mean you need to be on TV and behind a microphone. No, I'm just talking about it could be in the little smallest things, like it could be anything. And like Mother Teresa just started simply, helping out and feeding the hungry and those who were vulnerable on the streets. But nobody knew about that. But eventually, as momentum picked up, the word spread around, and obviously she became a national symbol to many individuals as an encouragement. So my friend, hopefully you took a powerful takeaway lesson about the tree principle. And so I desire for you, grow, my friend, grow personally, grow spiritually, grow in marriage if you're married, grow in your business, and become an asset to this world, not a liability. All right, until next time.